Hello, everyone. This is Beast and Bake Derby Talk. I'm Beast and he's Bake. Welcome to episode 7. We are powering through.
Episode 7, eh? Here we go.
How you doing, mate?
Yeah, good. Very well.
Another lovely week of it. Another week closer to
it.
the Gummy Bear Challenge. Are you getting excited?
Oh, I am just absolutely thrilled. I cannot wait.
So in this episode, we're going to talk about the Australian Demolition Derby Association. Obviously, we're moving forward. We've got some gear on now. So we're bringing it all forward. Nate's obviously freezing, so he can't wear anything other than a beanie and a jumper. We might have to look at getting that stuff sorted with our colours on it soon. We're going to talk to Malcom. He's the person that runs the Toowoomba Monster Truck Derby, which is on this weekend, which will be something exciting for everyone to see. We're going to talk about that derby. We're going to talk about some other derbies, as well as look at some big hits and pretty much just talk about the Demolition Derby week that's happened and all the exciting stuff from the association. So, Nate, do you want to kick us off, mate?
Yeah, so a bit of an update from the ADDA. Had quite a few memberships roll in, which is good. A bit more progress on our rules and regulations and putting together a few of those kits, and got a few sort of, I suppose, sample photos in of different build types and stuff, which is good. So when we get all that together, we'll release that out and show everyone. Just want to make sure it's right before we do it. Some more exciting news, I suppose, is we now have a South Australian rep for us. So that's Jeff Flack is our South Australian rep. So anyone from South Australia, he's your rep. So if there's anything you want to know, want to join, anything you want to do, you can speak to him. You come to us still if you want. But yeah, a big event's coming to Queensland. Brought to you by the Australian Demolition Derby Association, the Queensland title. So something new and exciting, something different. I don't think they've ever had anything like that up there. So bring the excitement up to Queensland and share a bit around, I suppose.
Yeah, so we can't announce it probably until next week, exactly what's happening. But we can promise that it's going to be the biggest prize money that Queensland's ever seen, the biggest title Queensland's ever seen, and ordering from the American side will be the biggest trophy that derbies have ever seen in Australia, which is exciting. I got a little bit overboard when I was having a look at the websites and that, so I'm looking at the biggest trophy I can actually find, the tallest one. My vision is to have someone standing next to a derby car with a trophy as tall as them. So I got a little bit excited. I don't know who put me in charge of that, but that's something that everyone's going to regret when I actually rock up with the thing, which is great. But yeah, Jeff Flack in South Australia is really good. We've had some membership out that way, so we're going to start to try and merge over to that way, start organising some things happening out that way to sort of bring the association into each state, with South Australia being one of the main ones because of the membership numbers we're getting from there, which is fantastic. So if you're in one of the other states, come on board. We'll end up bringing a rep into your state as well to try and get you guys included. If you've got any issues with demolition derbies or of the scene or the events in the area at the moment, contact your rep and they'll come through us and tell us what the issues are, and we'll try and resolve it. Whether that means us running more events in the area or the rules, we can make complaints about the rules and try and get them changed a little bit. With our event that's coming up, we actually are creating our own rules, which under the association rules as created by Matthew Critchlow, we're trying to make as simple as possible with as less restrictions as we can, obviously allowing for safety and everything like that. But it sounds like Critty's going to be making it so there's certain options that you can make. So if you want to go full ball, then you can. And if you don't want to go full ball, but you want to have something safe, then you can do that too. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he comes up with there.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting.
And obviously, being episode 7, we all know what's coming in 3 more episodes' time. which I don't know about you, Nath, but a little part of me was more excited about this before I started getting all the messages from people saying how they're excited to be there when we do it live. So I'm not
it was
Spencer.
It was much more exciting when we were just talking about it before we announced it. Now it's out there, you can't really take it back.
No, and we've also had some decent donations already. I think we're up to $140 or $130 or something like that.
Yeah, which big thanks to those people that have donated too. It means a lot to us, as well as, all the mental health like the fundraiser itself. So big thing, and we appreciate it heaps. And I suppose that's why we're going to put ourselves through a bit of pain for it.
Yeah. The little bit of pain that we're doing is nothing compared to the people that are going through the challenges of mental health. But in saying that, it doesn't help us at the time when our mouths are on fire.
Yeah, that's right.
We can act all high and mighty now, but when those gummy bears hit our throats, I'm actually looking forward to seeing the first 5 or 10 minutes after it happens, to see how much more of the show we can go through. Because I have a feeling I'm going to have a lineup of these next to me. So I'm glad we're going to have to find someone else to go on the podcast with us for that episode. I'm reckoning we bring on Chris Fisher, because you can't have bake without shake if we're going into that.
No, I'm going to get some numbing spray.
You're going to get some numbing spray. Well, yeah. So anyway, let's try and push that away for another couple of episodes, so we don't have to stress ourselves out. But just for anyone who hasn't seen the last episode, we are doing the world's hottest gummy bear challenge in episode 10. It's going to be a live podcast. I'm not sure whether the date's going to be the same or not, because it's actually Nathan's birthday on that day, which would be a terrible present for him. So it's either going to be that day or it's going to be a day either side of it or something like that, whatever we can work out. But we're aiming to raise $500 for the Team Black Dog mental health assistance company. So basically, I think we've got the $140 at the moment. If we can hit that $500 mark, we're all going to have the gummy bears burn our faces off and basically cry and snot all over ourselves on live TV, which is going to be great. It's really good for our image in demolition derbies, I think. I can't say anything better than that. But anyway, moving on from that, we've got this weekend, we've got the Toowoomba Monster Truck Demolition Derby, which I'm looking forward to seeing, because obviously Toowoomba, the last one, was the origin. So anything that brings us back to that town, which is probably one of the meccas of demolition derby at the moment, surprisingly, is really good. You've got some decent drivers in there. You've got a mix of New South Wales and Queensland drivers in it, which Malcolm's going to tell us about when he comes on. But just looking at the list that he's provided us, there are some solid cars there. I swear Queensland is only Derby Falcons. I don't know what it is, just Fords everywhere.
It's good to see a couple of 380s in there as well, though.
I did see that, yeah. It would be interesting to see how they build.
One of them is a new driver too, so.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
What a way to start. 380 sedan up against Queenslanders in their favourite choice of cars.
Someone's going to make the mistake of hitting that 380 back to back. I just hope that person is a complete psychopath in that 380 and just makes it an exciting show. But anyway, well, how about we bring Malcom on, because he seems like he's just sitting there bored, so we'll bring him on so we can have a bit of a chat with us anyway. How you going, Malcom?
How you going, guys?
Good, mate. Sorry, we got a little bit distracted there talking about hot gummy bears.
It's going to be interesting to have a watch of that.
Yeah, I'll swap you.
Nah, you're good. You can have it.
I reckon Malcom hosts that one and we all just sit back and enjoy it.
Yeah.
I've never heard of one, so I'm interested to see what it's like.
Man, I can tell you, I had one probably about 7 weeks ago. I had one just as a fun thing with some of my mates, and I had it put in my mouth, took one bite of it, and they all chewed and swallowed it. I took one bite, spat the thing out, and then I saw what happened. I was pretty bad just from where I had one bite. But I saw what happened to them, and it does not look great. Like they were like,
a lot of milk will cure it.
It didn't. It was literally burning for an hour after, and I just took one bite out of it.
Why are we back on this topic again?
Like I shit you not, an hour later, I was still in pain. Like just my teeth were hurting. It was that bad.
Wowzers.
My goal is to make Nath that face hot. He has to take his beanie off on live TV.
I'm worried about the restriction we're going to get when I get naked on the cam.
Well, we can't promise these things. We'll have an R rating on there. We'll be right. So anyway, mate.
Talking about that 380 that's coming up here, that's actually a Sheila that's driving it. First time lady.
Is it?
Yeah. First time lady.
Oh, Pip.
Yep.
I thought it was like Gav. I don't know. I'm just
no. That's the brother. He's in the Magna.
Oh, okay. We'll start out just asking him, Malcolm. What inspired you to get involved in the sport of demolition derbies?
So what inspired me? We used to have a few Speedway cars at the time, back in 2014, and we thought Speedway got too expensive. And then we seen a derby happening at the Speedway and thought, well, why not give it a go? So we did. 10 years later, we're still going.
What car were you using?
So I had a Ford Corsair. Just an old chain and go car, and she didn't do too well at all. And that's the only chain car I've ever ran since.
Well, that's Ford's for you, I suppose. Where was that at?
Toowoomba Speedway.
Oh,
So
really?
I derbied between the Speedway and the showgrounds.
Yeah.
Back then we had 4 derbies a year, I'd say. And now we're down to like 2.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can change that, because I honestly think that Toowoomba's starting to become the mecca of demolition derbies. With the Speedway being fully behind us and stuff like that, I can see some big things coming.
100%.
Hopefully,
and that's like with this Monster Truck Derby. I was happy that 6 new guys wanted to jump in. I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, you've got some decent.
More the merrier.
You got some decent drivers there. It's going to be an interesting one to watch. When was your first derby?
My first derby was back in 2014.
Oh, so you've done about 10 years now.
Yeah, done 10 years now.
With that bit of experience,
try and do 1 or 2 a year still.
Yeah. With that bit of experience that you got now, what were as you were obviously the head official of the Origin Derby, what were your thoughts on Origin Game 1?
Carnage. I can't wait to see Game 2 when everyone's cars are equal. That's going to be the eye-opener.
Yeah, it was definitely a different kind of demolition derby. I'm very much looking forward to seeing Game 2. Talk us through how you were going with the scrutineering and stuff like that.
So the scrutineering is probably a bit different down that way with how we build cars up here. There's more world happening with the guys up here. So you just lift your bonnet and know what you're looking for, and then go around and check your cars and then move on to the next one and do the same thing.
And that
some guys will have chain cars, some guys will have world cars.
Yeah. And obviously at Origin level, those cars were built to a whole different standard. Like
100%.
They were probably some of the best cars I've seen built, to be honest.
In saying that, I think for the last 10 years it's been going that way. With our cars, we were welding, but not welding to that extent. But I'd say for the last 10 years since I've been in it, that's the way it's been heading.
What do you think went well with Origin 1?
What went well with Origin? What could I say? Like a lot went well because it was the whole different spectre things. The only thing that I probably would change for the next one is not so many stoppages.
Yeah, that was an issue, but I think that was a lot to do with the fact it's been like a decade since they've had a derby at the actual.
Yeah, 100%. It was been a while.
Yeah, so if they saw a little bit of flame, they freaked out.
Back then at the Speedway, we used to derby on the infield. So that was the first one on the track in numerous of years. The last one we did on the track was actually a 4-cylinder derby, and it was actually a race around tyres, and it was just nose to tail.
I think I actually did see that one.
Yeah, Adam Langton.
Interesting to watch.
Adam Langton went over on my car.
Yep, I definitely did see that.
Rolled her over. Yeah,
there definitely was a different level of intensity. I thought in that derby, I've never seen anything with that. There was definitely no rookies in it. It was all skill versus skill, and if you got outdone, it was more of like a like I spoke to Nath about this, and I've spoken about it in previous podcasts. I think it was the shock of how the Queensland how they drove. I've got a video for us to watch later to show what Nath was talking about in previous episodes with the utes and vans just not doing the same thing in Newcastle. Yeah. Whereas at Origin level, they were a completely different car. Like they were just so much better built that we weren't expecting them to be able to get hit in the front and not bother them at all.
They won't budge.
No, they didn't move.
Yeah, that's right. Like having such a brand new big event at a place that sort of hasn't really had such a big event there in that terms. You know, there's a lot to learn, and you know, it's really hard to make everything run perfectly smooth. But I think the night went pretty well, to be honest.
Yeah, that's the thing.
A couple of hiccups, what you expect. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
well, there's a couple of hiccups that happen you expect, but like you said, I'm keen for Origin 2. It's going to be, I think the intensity level in Origin 2 is going to be like twofold.
We'll go next level again.
Oh, it's going to be carnage.
I think all the boys, especially even the Queenslanders are going to be wanting to the clean sweep of it. And the New South Wales boys are going to want to be pushing it for a decider. Like it's do or die for game 2, and I'm very much looking forward to it. What are your thoughts on us increasing it to 13 versus 13 this time?
I reckon 13 on 13 is a good number because you look at the size of an NRL football team at the moment with how many they got. So 12, and then you go up to 13. No, that's good. And there's enough room to have 13 on each side. Like, guys mightn't think the Speedway track is big, but until you go out there and see for yourself, it is big.
When you told me that about the size of the track, me and Nath were talking about it the night before because we obviously went there and had a look at the track and we were watching some of the racing and that. And I said to him, I'm a bit worried about the size of the track. Maybe I should have went full track. And when we got down there, the size is incredible. Like the speed that you could get up, like there was no issues at all.
It's very deceiving on the width of the track, that's for sure. Standing in the
100%.
crowd to being on the track, it's heaps different.
Yeah, because the different levels with the slope down.
Yeah.
Because I think me and Nath are the same. Our Speedway experience is Parramatta, which is a huge track. And it looks like a big track as well. But when you're out there at Toowoomba, because of the slope, it's so deceptive. Like, it balked me when I first drove out there. I went, oh, I've completely misjudged this. My whole plan was to try and, get in the narrow spots, but there are no narrow spots.
Yeah. It's either wall or wall.
Yeah, it was the walls come up on you, and then all you saw was tailgates and bloody panel van doors. So, Malcolm, you've been around long enough to know what was the difference that you thought between the agricultural shows and the State of Origin?
Oh, next level, completely different. But then like with this weekend, you got rep drivers going up against rep drivers, so that's going to be interesting too.
Yeah, I did notice that on your drivers list. There's a few rep drivers in there that done Origin. So, how many? We've got a few in there actually.
Yeah, that's what I'm just going over now. Yeah, rep driver up against rep driver, so that'll be good at a country.
It is good to see the separation and getting the recognition for the drivers that have went to that level now, because obviously previously you knew the drivers that won a lot, but you'd never seen them as representatives, whereas now you've got the next
right.
level.
This is next level again.
Yeah, you've got this is person who's done, rep level driving. Obviously, it probably makes them a bit more of a target. If I was a newbie out there knowing that there's Queensland rep drivers, well, they're probably the ones I'd be going after. But it is good to have those different levels in the sport that's finally came into it anyway.
Yeah, well, that's right too. Like, if you go around going, oh, I took a driver out that's won 3 derbies, it doesn't sound as good as if you say, I took out a rep driver that's been on the Queensland team.
Yeah, 100%. And with the, like we mentioned before, the state titles coming in, imagine what a target on your back.
Definitely.
Even the glory of having the Queensland title, like, especially because you only get one shot at it once a year, the big prize money for it, as well as having that chip on your shoulder for the rest of the year.
The name,
man, you
right.
are going to be hunted for the rest of that year as the Queensland champion. And obviously, you get 10 points extra for winning that derby as the state champion on the Australian Championship leaderboard. So that's another benefit to it. We'll have more information about what derby that is probably by the next podcast, I imagine.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. All things going well. But with that in mind, anyway, what are your thoughts on the Australian Demolition Derby Association, Malcolm?
The thing that I'm going to love is more events and one set of rules, not going to this event and having this set of rules and going to the next event having this set of rules. It's all going to be compact.
That seems to be the most favourite out of everyone, is the unified form of just rules.
Yeah. And especially with being like a scrutineer, it'll be good in that sense. When you're going over the cars, you know what you're going to see bar work wise.
Yeah, that's true.
Definitely makes it a lot easier for the blokes that are out there that are doing all the behind the scenes work and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, and I think having that standard will help in each state as well. Speaking about South Australia with Jeff and that, I've seen their builds, which are good, but the standards between their ag show derbies and their speedway derbies there's a little bit of a gap in between the two, which I'd like to see get rid of that and have it as one solid standard. The Queensland rules are obviously pretty decent. I like those rules a lot. It's good to have the different options though. Like, I don't want to have a South Australian driver come over here with a South Australian build and not be able to run it in one of our derbies. So
yeah, 100%.
Having that would be great anyway.
What are the biggest changes you'd like to see in the future of derbies? Obviously, you've mentioned the rules, but what are other changes you'd like to see?
More events, I think. That would be a good thing. And then hopefully the price of cars come down and be good. That's another thing. Price of cars.
Well, they're actually not too bad in my side. Actually, like I've been talking to Nathan about
a few.
Oh yeah,
I've been buying a lot.
Yeah, if you need a car, just head over to Shane's house.
Yeah. I think I've bought. I've got like 8 in the last month, maybe. I just bought a Camry wagon today, which was a nice little score. But I think what's going to help.
That's what you got to do. If you find them cheap, jump on them.
Yeah, that's right. I just put them out the paddock until I need them. Like I was talking to Kenny about the Tarago I just bought, about possibly bringing that into Origin next year, which
that will be interesting because them sorts of cars, they don't run up this way.
No, and
so that would be interesting.
So a front-wheel drive Tarago is basically a Camry panel van, for lack of a better term. Like, they're a monster, and if it works out, that I've spoke to Kenny, he's going to talk to Ryan at Toowoomba Speedway, and if they're happy to clear it, then that's probably what I'm going to take down to Origin. It's fast, it hits hard, and it's not going to heat up. And I can just picture what that minivan would bend like when it hits one of the Queensland panel vans or utes or something like that. It's just going to fold like like a huge version of a Magna Wagon, I reckon, just straight up in the air.
Yeah, up in the air, yes.
Which would be cool to see. But that's all on the back burner until
that's for sure.
Until the Speedway approves it. But that's just something interesting. But we are looking at. I was talking to Nathan, the rest of the association, about bringing in raffle cars and stuff like that for people that can't find cars. So like selling tickets and stuff like that on the Derby page for drivers to rock up and literally just jump in a car. Like
I like the sound.
We tow it to the shows. We tow it to the shows. We have our sponsors on the vehicles. Cars built to full spec, Queensland bar work or whatever the spec is for that one. They literally just jump in and go for their life and hopefully get the bug that we all know there is once you get that first few hits, and then you're stuck.
That's it.
It's one of those things where once you get that first whack, well, she's all over. You're there forever.
That's right. That's why these guys for this week asked me, what do I expect? What do I expect? I said, get the first hit out of the way and then you'll love it.
Yeah. Well, whilst we're talking on that, how about we go through the list of drivers that you've got? Did you want to call them out, Malcolm? And we'll have a bit of a discussion on each driver.
First up, we got Aaron Paul from Roe Desert.
Aaron, yep. So he's a rep driver.
Rep driver, yes.
What's your predictions of Aaron? What's he bringing?
Aaron's bringing his Origin Ute.
His Origin Ute?
It will be his first run since Origin. So I expect him to do well.
Yeah, he was I can't remember. What did Aaron... Is he the one that got hammered by Matt Moore?
Yes, correct.
Yes. So he'll be looking to have a bit of an impact off the start there to come back from that hit because
I think he's going to hold 2 380s.
He's going to be looking for some vengeance on those 380s. I can tell you that. You'd be thinking Matt Moore's in them.
Next, we got Ash Allen from Ipswich. I haven't met Ash before.
And what's Ash running?
BA Falcon.
A BA Falcon?
EB Falcon. What am I doing?
I was going to say, those BAs are pretty decent if they're built properly. The EBs aren't too bad. I've seen that you guys up there actually run crossflows in a lot of your EBs as well, so they tend to go a lot better than they do down this way.
Yes, they do. Do the engine swap.
Yeah, which is always good to see because, I mean, the bodies of those things aren't too bad, but the motors in those are generally crap.
As I found out with doing a wagon.
Yes. As I found out at Mullumbimby last year when I'd done one hit against a hatchback and it bent to the ground.
Next on the list, you got Ben Langton from Toowoomba.
Yep, another rep driver. And
Ben will be in the panel van that he ran at Lowood.
Oh, yeah. That's actually his Origin panel van too.
Yes,
he's just
correct.
painted a different colour. So
this will be its third run.
Yep.
God, I wish we got that out of cars.
Yeah.
Next, we got Brody Cohen, a new driver from Toowoomba. He's in an EB Ford as well. It seems to be EB Fords and Utes in this derby.
Yeah, it's crazy to me as a driver that's obviously been in Newcastle and been in New England, the lack of Magnas and Camrys in this derby.
It's Queensland.
Yeah, all Fords.
They're all Fords. Next one, you got Cody Hack, he did one derby at Lowood.
Yep. Yeah, that's Reese Hack.
Brother.
Yep. So that car would be built
That's
quite
actually the person that I'm looking forward to see how he goes.
He did quite well at Lowood.
If there was a dark horse, that would be my dark horse. Next, you got Corey Langton in the Billy Ute.
Yep. Yeah, that thing will be built like a tank. I've got to say, he'd probably be my favourite to win that derby out of all the drivers
100%.
He's pretty consistent in his builds. He wouldn't rock up to that Derby without knowing that he can win it. And his cars are pretty. Like, speaking of someone who's hit his driver's side wheel and passenger side wheel full noise in a 380, his cars are built tough.
Yes.
Because even I barely moved them, and those things are nothing to cough at, the 380 front ends.
Next driver, you got Daniel Hall from Ipswich. Runs Boona Ipswich Derbies.
Not familiar with Daniel.
Then you've got Daniel from Ashford, New South Wales, down your way. He's bringing a ute.
Yeah, I think Dylan actually pulled out.
Okay, Dylan's pulled out.
Yeah, I think he's pulled out. He's having some issues with the family, but he obviously that ute. I can't believe he's running it again. That was bent pretty bad.
I said to him, put some more hoop bars in it and bring it.
Yeah, it'd be right. It'd be right to go again. So just for everyone else, Dylan is the bloke that I rolled at Lowood, and the whole friggin' roof of his car was like laid over just from the impact of the 380 landing on it. So good on him for wanting to get back in there that quickly. Anyway, it's just a shame he had to pull out this time.
You got Jacob Gavin from Toowoomba. He's a new driver in a Mitsubishi Magna.
Not a bad one to start in.
He's done it up like the taxi, so that's pretty cool.
Nice. Yep.
Got a taxi light on the roof.
They're pretty idiot proof, the old Magnas, aren't they? You can get hit in the front, it won't bother them.
Yeah, that's right. Then you got Jason Betherson from Toowoomba and a Kenai's Epi Ute.
Oh, that's going to be an interesting one. If Kenny's built it for a first time, or is it a second-hand ute, or is it freshie?
Yeah, no, second-hand.
That'll still be interesting. Kenny can build a ute.
Jason's one of our good mates up here that's been going passengers for years and years. And being the sort of derby that it is, we thought, well, why not you jump in and have a crack? And he's all for it.
That's right. Yeah,
So
it's right. It's where you got to learn your craft.
Said, we'll find you a ute and put you in it.
Yeah. You got to learn the craft somehow.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Next one, you got Jason Robinson, another new guy from Toowoomba.
EB Falcon.
EB Falcon, correct. And then you got Johnny Bell from Armidale, New South Wales in the 380.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Going for its 5th run.
Yep. Hopefully old Johnny starts hitting properly this time. 5 runs out of a 380 is crazy. I swear he must have pulled that whole back end out, though. There's no way that thing could be that straight still. Because I saw him at Mullumbimby, done some decent wax there. It should have folded by now.
I think he's getting the loader onto it and smacking it back down and pulling it back out.
I think what he's doing, because I know old Johnny, I dare say he's getting the loader, smushing it down, then welding it some more and smushing it down again every time.
Just keep packing it.
The back
Each
end
derby,
of that
it's getting stronger and stronger.
Yeah, it's getting shorter, but turned into a concrete block by the end of it. He's probably put about friggin' 9 rolls of bloody MIG wire into it.
The next one is Michael Nicol in his VZ Commodore. I'm interested to see how that goes. It's all welded and rods in the front.
Is that the one that was at Boona?
Nah, brand new guy, brand new car.
Brand new.
Yeah,
that'd be interesting.
2-week build.
I can tell you now that motor's going to give up before that car does.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Shit.
Yes. Yeah. Unfortunately, that is the issue with them. But if it's built decent, it might be. Well, that one at Boona surprised me something shocking because it was just so light in the arse end and just kept flicking around.
Do you know who ran it at Boona?
No, I don't.
You don't?
No, but he did quite well, whoever that was. This is my interesting dark horse, this one, your next one.
This one, Pip Gavin in the 380, new driver from Toowoomba.
Yeah, that's the girl, isn't it?
That's the girl, yes, correct.
Yeah. So this is the thing. This person, I'm probably going to fuck her up now because I'm going to talk about it in the podcast. But this is a person who's a first-timer, who's got no enemies. She's a young lady in one of the best cars in demolition derbies. So if, say, Corey and that, ignore her because she's in a 380 and she's only a new timer, and then at the end, it's going to bite them in the ass because Those 380s are nothing to cough at. Like if they're at the end struggling in that 380 and she decides to open it up, well, good luck to those boys.
Next, you got Warwick Wilkinson from Warwick. And I think he does ALRA Warwick Derbies.
Was he at the Allura Derby when I was there? Or not the Allura?
Yes, correct. He would have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's bringing a ute for the first time. Never built a ute before and said, why not? He got one, so he's building it up and bringing it up. Naming it Bluey.
Give it a crack.
It'll be his Bluey ute for the crowd.
Yeah, why not? Rip in. It's a good one to see.
Next driver, you got Sean Elberg from Clifton. He's an Origin driver.
Yeah, he'll go well.
Sean will dig in.
Yeah, I think he was at Lowood as well, wasn't he?
No.
No,
Sean wasn't. This will be Sean's first derby back after Origin.
Yeah. Well, he went a ride to Origin too. You can definitely build them. There's a few decent cars there. Not familiar with the last one. I don't know.
Who's that?
Tom Binley?
Tom Binley, yeah, he's from down your way.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure. I think we spoke about him. Isn't he? He went to Bundara.
Yes,
Yeah.
we did. Yes, yeah.
When you say Holden wagon, do you mean a Commodore wagon or a HT?
How that goes. Yeah.
I've actually, speaking of that, it's a perfect transition. So he's in a Commodore wagon, you reckon? All right.
Yes.
You boys, Nath, I'm going to bring in your experience here, mate. If an EL Falcon wagon and a Commodore wagon went back to back 100 mile an hour fresh, what would come off best?
EL.
You reckon, Malc?
Oh, yeah. It depends what model Commodore wagon we're talking about.
VS.
Yeah, EL.
Yeah, I'd go the Ford too. I've derbied VS sedan and know what they're like.
They go straight to the floor.
Boom. What do you reckon of that?
Just stoved it.
The Commodore absolutely flattened the EL.
That EL must have been full of rust, surely.
Nope, I promise you it's not.
Is that a country? Is that a city versus country car?
Yeah, that was from the country team Series 2, I think. So that was two brothers going back to back, just boom off the start.
Wow.
Yeah, that surprises me because every Commodore wagon that I've seen derby, plus I've derbied one myself, all of them go straight to the floor.
Well, that one probably did eventually, but just on that one impact. Yeah. Oh, no, VT, sorry. Like, look at that impact. That's just flat out back to back.
VT wagons have a slightly bigger, they got like a different roof shape at the arse end. Rather than being more square, they got that oval more at the top, which probably helps it a bit. But
like that's chassis to chassis.
That's
flat out. And it's just kinked straight on that. That would have been just straight above the diff.
She wouldn't have lasted long after that.
I think it spat the tail shaft out, to be honest. The Commodore kept going, but I don't believe that the other one did. Just absolutely friggin' folded it and spat the tail shaft.
I was going to say it's surely, if it didn't, it looks like that arse end's on the ground, taking all the weight off the wheels anyway.
100%. But look, just straight as an arrow to just nothing in one hit. That's obviously on the Australian Demolition Derby TikTok. If anyone wants to follow that, there's all the information there. Snag some followers on that one. So now that we've heard the list, boys, who are we predicting? Speaking as a podcast that's going to be released the day before the Derby, who are we thinking is going to take out the win, and who's going to be the mad dog?
I'll go first.
Yeah, you can go. Off you go.
So I'll go first. I reckon the win's going to be Corey Langton. and I reckon your mad dog will be Cody Hack. That's my prediction.
And what's the reason behind that?
Just derbying with Corey before, I know what he's like. And I know the build of the car. And for Cody, I'm interested to see how he goes.
Yeah, Cody's definitely got potential to be a really good driver. He did some quite decent wheel work at Lowood, which I was impressed with. So I think he's only going to get bigger and better. Probably a future Origin driver, possibly.
With his brother.
Yeah, if Reese keeps going, and Reese is having a few issues with his back and that, so maybe we'll have an interchange there and bring the younger brother in if he keeps bloody having issues. Although in saying that, I don't think Reese would ever let his seat go in Origin. I think he'd be holding onto that steering wheel for everything. What about you, Nath? What do you reckon?
I'm not really familiar with a lot of them drivers, but yeah, from what I've seen, the Billy Ute seems to go pretty good every time, so I'd probably put my vote in for him to win. And I don't know, probably the old wild card. I'd hope one of the 380s get up just to probably a bit of personal vengeance against the Queenslanders.
Just a bit of a warning for what's coming at Origin. Mate, if they had a Tarago minivan there right now, they'd be shit themselves.
Yeah.
You wait until those boys see what's coming. The whole New South Wales team is going to be in the back of my bus. I'm going to have to go Corey too. He's an experienced veteran. He knows what he's doing, and the car's been built for Origin, and it's solid as shit. It still hasn't moved, and it hit 380s, and it got hit by me full stick head on, and it still's barely bent. So I'd pick him for the win. I dare say for the Mad Dog, it's my pick's going to be based on the person that shows up. So it's going to be Johnny Bell if he shows up going for the Mad Dog. He has two types of driving, John, in my opinion. He can drive completely psycho, and it's amazing to watch, or he can sandbag to try and win. If he goes there to try and tear that 380 apart, he's going to absolutely annihilate everyone that moves. So I'm hoping that that's what he's going to do, because he'll put on a show. Yeah, if he's going there to get rid of that car and make sure it doesn't run again, then he'll be a mad dog. Because I don't know if you saw Malcolm when he went to Bundarra for the heats.
No, I didn't.
So he went to the heats, right? The heats were 4 minutes. And the idea was to do a few little hits in the first one, start warming up in the second one, and then get ready for the final. So what Johnny's done is full sticked it off the start and broke his wagon in half in one hit. And then the whole time was trying to figure out how to fix his wagon up, and we're trying to hit it with sledgehammers and pull it back out. And it was complete. It was probably the worst bent Camry I've ever seen, ever.
Was it rusty?
No. he just full noised another car straight off the start, and it just folded. It just completely folded. So the fact that he's got 5 runs out of that 380 tells me he's trying to win a few of those derbies rather than actually try and rip it.
Then competing. So
I'm hoping this time he'll just rip into it and actually show us what he can do as a big hitter, because he's not a strategic driver, and I hate when he tries to drive strategic. If he drives as a mad dog, then that's what we're all there for.
I'll take it, yeah.
Because, I mean, at the end of the day, strategic drivers are great and all that. Like, speaking as a strategic driver, it's great to see. But seeing those mad dogs like your Matt Moores and friggin' your Andy Jags, you remember those names. So I was actually talking to Andy
one driver we should bring back for Origin. Andy Jag would be a good Origin driver.
I was actually talking to him the other day about coming back into derbies, and he's not completely closed to the idea. So let's just say that there may be something in the future where he's coming to.
Yeah, I'd love to derby against him. I never had a chance to. As much as I've seen the videos and I'm like, it'd suck. It'd be, I'd love to derby against him.
Nath, mate, I mean this with all respect. With your last name, mate, he's probably going to try and rally off the start.
Bring it.
If you've got a name recognition, so if you're a name driver, so actually the first person I reckon he'd go for would be Matt Moore, because Matt Moore's his level of psycho. I reckon any name driver out there, Andy would go full noise for, which would be cool. I thought you derbied against him at Parramatta.
No, Nah, he'd stopped derbies before I did. I just started just after he did. Yeah.
Yeah, that must have sucked because it's like retiring from boxing before Muhammad Ali finished or just after Muhammad Ali finished because he was really good at just your psycho hits. Like he done some stuff. I was talking to him actually 2 days ago about the time he went to Parramatta, and I said to him before, I said, mate, there's a lot of cars coming after us because obviously this was the kamikaze time when we had big targets on our back and we were hitting people real hard. So there's a lot of cars coming after us. We need to be a little bit strategic here. He's like, no worries, mate, I'm on it. So 5 seconds into the Derby, I'm driving around. I see Andy fly through the air and lean on his roof and rip his entire front end off. And I go, well, I guess it's just me out here on my own now. He got out of the car, shit you not. He got out of the car and gave me a thumbs up as he was walking out. I was like,
you can have it to yourself.
He was so excited about it. I'm like, oh, mate. I think I actually – no, I haven't got that one on here, but that was just one of the funniest moments in derbies that I've had so far is watching. Like I had that conversation with him, be strategic, mate. He's like, no worries. And then flying through the air and gave me a thumbs up as he was walking off. I was like, well, guess I'm on my own here.
What, did he ride a wheel or how did it happen?
He hit a EL Falcon just on a weird angle. He was in a second-gen sedan, and he just hit it on a weird angle and launched himself because he was hitting it flat out. And he hit it and launched himself. It was basically like a spinning top on his roof. And, just on impact, it ripped his wheel off.
Wow.
Like, there was some crazy stuff he done, that bloke. But, yeah, speaking of crazy stuff, I was looking in the Off Your Guts Facebook page the other day in South Australia. What do you guys think of this? This was an interesting little video I watched. Halfway through a derby and just hits a wheel and over he goes.
No, was she right?
How'd you like to be doing that?
Easy it is.
It's so easy. It
Just
literally just bumped that back wheel.
Goes.
It's surprising how many front-wheel drive cars you see do that too. They just have to get that little bit of momentum and they just ride straight up the corner of a car and straight over they go.
Over they go.
It definitely doesn't take much. You can see here his actual, like his front passenger wheel has just clipped that rear wheel, and it looks like he's turned that little bit. And old mate here's had to change his undies after this because he thought that car was going to roll through.
Yeah, come through the screen.
But it's just that easy, and like you've got to build the cars to sustain that. Like you have a look at this one here. This was a new Growler. Look at that.
Wow.
That was a Magna Wagon on a Subaru sedan. And it's just
that just looks like there's no pillar bar in there at all either.
It's just pulled it. So just for the Queensland boys that are watching, this this little driver here in this yellow car is Peter Holmes, is our New South Wales number 12, just so you know. He earned that spot by being an absolute psycho and breaking cars in half like that. And he's been brought in for his first Origin in Game 2. So the Trangie boys are coming over, and they're all pretty rough.
How many mil bar work do you think that car had in it for that to happen?
Well, 500,000 probably.
Wouldn't be much.
I'd imagine it's probably got probably just the pillar-to-pillar bar, but there's definitely no welds or
you can
chain
see the
or anything
tabs.
on those doors.
You can see the tabs that are welded on that rear like the passenger door, but when you weld like sheet metal, it's not enough.
Nah, I like the seatbelt idea. On the, I'm not against that, but like your pillar bar's got to be on point. Like it shouldn't be bent in like that. Like at the very minimum, that pillar bar's got to be on point. But how about we have our first derby review anyway? Now that we've watched some horrible hits, so I found this one here. This is actually Lismore Speedway. I think it was 2009.
How
would you like to start out with that? You start out with a Magna on
and
your
it
bonnet.
keeps scrolling.
So this is Team Combat boys. A few of them out there. They're the
They're from
drafting
Grafton.
boys.
Yes.
Yeah.
As if you don't make yourself a target having your car that flashy and shiny.
That bloke actually, I had, I wouldn't say issues. I had a conversation with him at Glen Innes Derby because the Fireys outlawed, like they didn't want the lights flashing during it. And he actually did not like that at all and put his car on the trailer and left because he wasn't able to have his flashing lights during the Derby.
Which is, fair enough too. It's very distracting, but if I seen that in a Derby, I'd just target you.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, it does look cool and all that, but yeah, if the Fireys say no, well, sorry.
Yeah, well, that's right. Like, do a parade lap or something and have your lights on for it, or have them on until the countdown, and then just switch them off.
Yeah, that's right. It's surprising how many Magnas are actually in this Derby in Grafton, though. Like, this is 2009, so that was a while ago, like, for them to have so many Magnas.
Yeah, the people from Grafton back in the day weren't a big fan of my dad or your brother.
No, they weren't. I think we've kept that tradition up by me telling you about those lights, telling them to turn them off at Glen Innes, so I can't imagine they like the Ryans or the Williams at all.
It's a Volvo. They never give in.
The old Volvos, geez, they were let down when I started doing derbies. I really thought they would have been great cars. I think Chris did one at Bulladila, and
absolute nightmare to build.
They're just useless.
Like, his car wasn't too bad.
I had one and it was no good. It didn't even go in the Derby because it was that crap.
If you can get them to go, like, it's just they're so hard to build.
Well, see, he's folded perfect and everything, but like building them, they have like 50 airlines that run around the engine bay, and we just pulled one off at a time, started it, ran it, the next one off, started it, ran it. Like, it took us like 3 or 4 days just to sort out the airlines.
And that's the problem with the, like you said, the lack of availabilities of cars is that you've got really good drivers that can't find decent cars. Like the fact that you got Chris Fisher in a Volvo, like, I would have loved to have rocked up in a Magna Wagon and had some fun with him, but he shouldn't have been in one. He should be in something decent. Look at that first-gen wagon. Geez, I like them things. They're big old tanks, that black thing.
Yeah, the first-gen Magnas are a lot better than a first-gen Camry.
100%, yeah. The rear end of the solid as. The actual Volvo is not doing too bad. It's going right. I hate those lights.
Look, one's moving again.
What's that guy got a few neons on his too or something, or is that just his lights reflecting?
I think they're all the Team Grafton boys like having their flashing lights.
Okay.
If anything, you'd think it would make you a bigger target. I think the black one won that Derby then.
I'd want to smash it.
100%. I'd be like, I'm going to put that bloke on his roof.
It's so bright. You see it there through the smoke.
So this was
you're
actually
not building Christmas trees. You're building Derby cars.
This Derby here is the Parramatta one. This is actually a request from Jaden. He wanted us to review this one, which I thought was great because I'm actually in this one. So I'm quite happy to review it because I did all right this one. This was Rock Dog Racing videos. It's good to have when we had the professional videographers doing these ones as well. I've always been a bigger fan of the proper videos. Yeah,
it's a bit sad now. We don't really have anything like Rock Dog Racing was good. There was always updates from derbies and stuff like that, and he always had good videos of everything.
Yeah, well, that's why with the association, like I was saying before, we have stacks there with the Craze Co. We have our own photographers that are going to come now, starting with our first state of origin, or not state of origin, the first state title derby. Will have a few different people videoing and photoing and stuff like that, so we can try and capture those everyone's ability. Capture the moments for everyone. Make it easier to look back and go, "This is what I did." Imagine if you win the state title, and you can look back and see decent quality footage of what you did. Come on the podcast and tell us your strategies and stuff like that, and make it what it deserves to be, which is the highest level of derbies in your state. Also, this is when the kamikazes were at their prime, so you'll see a lot of us out there, and that's how we treated first-timers. That was straight off the start.
Bunch of bullies.
Just launched off him.
Matt Alexander just absolutely obliterated that poor bloke in the Volvo.
And I tell you what, he has no remorse for you when he hits you.
Nah. Shannon and Matt just absolutely splattered people in this derby, and Mark comes through and just pummels people. And I can't blame him because I'm out there too. Imagine back at Parramatta in these days when you had all the Alexanders, you had Andy, and you had me out there. There were some monstrous hits.
Back then, were they all chain cars or some had weld?
Nah, all chained.
All chain.
Yeah, there was no
To be
weld.
fair, most of
seatbelts.
all of us in the Hunter, that's how we build all our cars, is chain and seatbelt. The only thing we really weld is we'll weld a couple of bonnet pins in here and there, but that's about all the welding you get.
Yeah. Don't weld diffs or anything? Lock your diffs or anything?
See, we run Magners. 99% of the derbies here, you're lucky to see a panel van or a ute turn up or anything that's rear-wheel drive.
This derby here is an interesting one. All the Andy just flattening people. So what we didn't realise in this derby is we had a bloke on the sideline. I won't name names, but he specifically was going to disqualify me and Andy before it for anything we did. So if you watch on the video here, you'll have Andy do probably not his scariest hit, and he gets disqualified for it. Unfortunately, we had a reputation for hitting really hard, so the scrutineers and officials wanted to just get rid of us. You can see him pointing at us now. Politics of derby, though.
The new Sydney Speedway, they haven't talked about any derbies happening there yet?
Not yet, but we're working on something. Can't talk about it yet. Yeah. But yeah, so there's Andy getting disqualified for that hit. Not his worst hit. And then there's a driver's door hit, and old mate doesn't get disqualified.
That's a nasty driver's door hit too.
Yeah, and then there was no way he could have known that was going to happen, though. No fault of his own.
Yeah, that's right. That car spun in a certain direction that when you're travelling at that speed, you're not going to stop.
Yeah, and Mark, I can tell you from talking to him after it, Mark didn't blame him at all. It didn't mean old mate in that 385 car didn't cop an absolute hammering by all the Alexanders next time he went to Derby, but they didn't blame him at all. Yeah, there's Andy getting disqualified. So that's about, 3 minutes into the derby? Look at how badly bent Mark's car is. It's just snapped clean in half. I know how that feels, mate. Don't worry about that. The whole broken ribs are not fun.
Can't believe they black flagged Andy Jag for that hit.
I can tell you now there's politics involved in this. A lot of them. I ended up getting banned for 5 derbies after this one. It was crazy. I think me and Andy both got banned for 5 derbies for hitting too hard.
Then it comes down to what? What are you going to do? Start speed restricting derbies?
Nah, I did. We took it to Speedway Australia. What's that?
How can they justify that though?
They couldn't. They couldn't. So what happened is I ended up taking it to appeal and I won it without even any issues at all. It was just one bloke that didn't like us, which we ended up sorting him out the next derby. We went
into with the targets.
Yeah, all he done was put a big target on his back with Alexander's and Andy Jag and the Beast, which was a bad day for him.
Was he a fellow competitor?
Only every so often. He was an old school competitor. I think he didn't like my family or something like that. I'm not sure. He just wasn't. He wasn't a very friendly person.
Yeah.
You can see, like, look at that back there. Like, imagine that. Look at the size of the track. There's old Brett. He's a legend of the sport, that bloke. There you go. There's an old school trick. Slam your brakes on when someone's chasing you. Dunk. Me and Brett had some decent battles at Parramatta Speedway.
Brett, what's Brett's last name?
Belief Nick?
I don't even know him.
He used to run the Magnosaurus on his cars. It come out of me and Brett here. So after this derby, I never ran a wiring harness through the driver's side again. I always unplug it because what he done, because he's a wily old veteran, he knew that I didn't move it. So he lined up my driver's side and cut my wiring harness. Yeah, you can never underestimate experience and skill in this derbies. Look at that, lined it right up and cut it. Bastard.
That's why I don't like a lot of drivers that I know don't like me looking at my car at scrutineering. Because they come start looking at what things they can hit and what they can target.
Yeah.
So I look at them running out to stop the derby. As soon as you stop, they're like, it's over, it's done.
Yeah. He did not like me, that bloke. But look at Brett, like the fact that he was like, you can tell with the old school drivers when it comes down to it, like I think when you're in derbies and that, and if you've been out there for a little while, you start to work out little things that are going on. The fact that he knew in that last moment after derbying for 15 minutes that I had a wiring harness on that side and he just lined it up, like that's skill.
It's definitely a I guess it's like it's a good thing that you do start to, even like myself, I'll do the same thing. Like you start looking at certain drivers and what cars they're bringing, and you start knowing that when it comes to certain points in the derby, you know that, okay, if it's me and him left, I can do this to stop him. And if it's me and him left, I've got to do this. And, start picking parts away from their car and what type of driver they are and what they'll do. Because I know a lot of drivers that when it gets down to the end, they'll just stop, go and reverse. They'll just go head on. And they know 100%. What to do in head on. So, and, it makes your job twice as hard as well.
Yeah, head ons when they're coming at you and you're still trying to protect your front end is a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
And then you have ones that drive the same car every time and they know everything about that car. See, I've been doing it long enough now where I just switch up whatever car I'm driving and see how I go and just pretty much get whatever I can get. Hence the Tarago and the Corona wagon and the Mazda hatchback. See how those things go. But you have ones that have just derbied the same car forever and they could be some of the best drivers you'll ever see at that car, which is really hard to stop those drivers because they know everything about that car. Like, for example, Shane Oliver, when he's in a Magna, he's a pain in the ass. You get him in anything else and he'll roll himself or he's just useless. But you get him in a Magna, that bloke will know exactly what he's got to do, where everything is, and it's an absolute nightmare to stop him because he'll just go head on 2 seconds into the derby.
See,
is his son still derbying as well?
Which one?
Yeah, all three of them are.
All three of them, yeah, okay.
Yeah. But I remember when I first started, I used to paint 2 lines up my bonnet where the chassis rails were. Like, in my first couple of derbies, just to learn. I used to implement it into my paintwork so it didn't look obvious. Just it always showed me where they were.
That's just me pinstripes.
Yeah. GT stripes just spread nice and wide.
The little the countdown. This is one for the old veterans. So this is one I found. It's a Western Australia derby, which it's from the 80s. So you can see some of the cars that are in this derby.
Yeah, $1 million derby.
These are the old veterans, and look how they would have had to have learned how to drive with the chassis rails and stuff like that. Like the chassis in the rear of our cars don't really matter too much these days because that ute looks nice.
That's what I was about to say.
Because the chassis they're not solid, they just fall apart. But look back then, those chassis are solid as shit. They'd have to work out how to fold them a certain way.
No, look at the poor wagon straight up.
The wagons are already jacked up.
Like Concertina.
God, that'd be almost that'd be a $500,000 derby sitting right there.
I wouldn't like
It's
to.
a full track derby too.
Yeah, well, that's what we were thinking about doing for Origin initially. I'm glad we didn't do it. Could you picture what Matt Moore would do in a 380 on a full track?
Oh, he'd be going out in a friggin' ambulance. He'd kill himself.
Yeah, 100%. Look at those cars. Each one, I bet there was not a speck of rust in any of those cars.
And you know what? It sort of makes sense why you see a lot of the old blokes, like the old school derby drivers that diddle a lot, why they walk around and it looks like their back's just a solid rod, because like these cars do not take anything away from it. Your body just cops all the punishment.
Oh, did you see that?
The pink wagon.
Just dunk.
Australian.
Oh, I'd love to know what kind of car that is, actually. Is that it? That's not a Holden. That's a... What is that thing?
I'm surprised.
Is it Cortina? Excuse me. There's not many panel vans in this derby, but those wagons seem to be doing some damage.
It's a shame about that yellow ute. It looked nice and straight at the start.
That yellow ute looked fantastic. I saw it and it broke my heart. So to give context, this is 44 years ago, this derby. And they got passengers in them by the looks of that.
Oh, listen to the good old commentation.
Now we got sound.
Look at that.
The name of the game is to put out your opponent as quick as possible.
Sounds like the horse race in the way they're talking about it.
There was David Smith just backing out of that collision on that occasion.
This is what your old boy would have been doing back in the day, no?
Top demolition derby action here in Australia.
Yeah, the good old Newcastle Motordrome.
I bet you if he had 10 of his old cars, he would have been able to buy a house.
Oh, I still remember him watching a derby and a premiere, and it still had the old widow, the old peak at the front, the Venetians and all.
Wherever you are across Australia, if a demolition derby is being programmed on Australian Speedway, then make sure you make it a date to get along and see what is.
Some of the ones at Dave's old photos, I'm looking at them going, oh, he'd kill to have that right now.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that ute, the yellow one.
There's Mad Mike Fletcher.
Well, Australia's first derby
car number 8, that is Terry Chamberlain.
was in Adelaide.
And he is driving.
There were 75 cars and it lasted for longer than 100 minutes.
Oh.
That's an hour and a half derby.
Well, that's what they do all the time in America. The heats are an hour.
Far out. Like, we're lucky. If you get a 20-minute derby, it's incredible.
Our cars aren't nearly as solid. Like back in the day, the cars were barely. Look at that. It's barely bending.
Mark Brown, car 777.
Oof, that would have hurt.
Oh, look at the arse end of that thing.
Look at yeah, she's bent.
Which of course was Terry Chamberlain, and there is a section of the large crowd here tonight of over 2,000 people enjoying this very exciting.
They got a passenger in it?
Derby, one of the most
yeah, they have passengers in it. Look at the crowd.
Speedway. They love it. Wherever a demolition derby is programmed across Australia, you're guaranteed.
Well, that's one thing that's been consistent for the last 50 years of derbies. If there's a demolition derby on at a speedway, it's packed.
The crowd will be there.
Yeah. Like you saw Origin, how packed was that?
There they are in your screen, just two of the surviving.
With Origin, everyone was just down on the fence.
Yeah, I know. They were yelling at me.
Beyond, couldn't see anything.
Oh, mate's just taking out the fence.
That was some of the most vocal crowd I've heard. Like that speedway is incredible for the sound.
Yeah,
in the
they loved it.
Yeah, I could hear him yelling and oohing and ohing. When I got hit in the front, I was in pain, but all I could hear was the crowd cheering on.
Crowd, yeah.
Wow. They loved it.
There is Mark Brown in car 777.
Oh, almost just jumped
Meanwhile,
out.
they've got one
He's
car
bailing.
out to make sure that he gets out of harm's way.
The one thing I did notice is they got nothing on their driver's door.
Nah, it looks like they just stripped him out and jumped in.
As the cars become eliminated one by one.
I wonder what the rule was back there, whether you just avoid the driver's door if you can. Or...
Yeah, like, how do you tell between passenger cars and non-passenger cars?
I imagine the rules back then were a bit chill.
Yeah.
They're just like, well, Timmy's
did you hear
dead.
that? Did you hear the commentator?
That's Monaro.
Yeah, out there in the Monaro.
Oh,
There's your house right there.
44 looking
God, that's
for
heartbreaking.
victory.
Oh,
Car number 70.
mate.
That was a
Was
good
Terry
one.
Page.
He would have
He's
felt
just been
that. Look
taken
at
out
the
of
44 didn't
proceedings
even
now
bend.
uncertain.
Didn't even bend.
There is car number 8. That is Terry Chamberlain.
He's been doing some work, that bloke.
That car used to be a Valiant.
Val.
Not exactly.
My dad always said the Valiants were the most intimidating because they were the loudest car on the paddock.
100% they were massive.
And meanwhile, the car
Mind you, I think the whole HKTGs are like so much solider.
drawing to a close.
No, he just said like the noise of them was intimidating. They always sounded like they were moving a lot quicker.
Look at the big Hemis, yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that thing cracking through. That's the Monaro there. Oh, no.
Oh,
There we
I
go.
tell you what, that 44's got it moving.
Yeah.
Just pushing him.
That's Matt Moore's dad there.
Okay. There is car number 44, Larry Bogue. And he is just trying to put that Monaro out of proceedings for this Demolition Derby as the final cars become eliminated.
How'd you like to be the bloke that drive that Monaro? I bet he feels like an absolute belter right now.
Terry Chamberlain, car number 44.
This was
which of course
44 years ago.
is
this
Larry
derby.
Bogue.
Just for
There is
context.
car number 69 just working his way through the wrecked car.
Oh, the Monaro just got splattered.
They call him mad, and he certainly is to go in a Demolition Derby.
Well, look how. Well,
Wow.
the diff's still on the ground, but nothing else is.
Oh, mate.
Oh, look, old mate's half dead. They're not even stopping the derby. Get him out. Get him out.
There's no stop at the
Put
derby.
him on
there.
the ground.
No.
Yeah, he has been.
Oh, they're
You're
just
right,
like
mate.
hiding.
Get
hiding
your
in the-
schooner.
oh, look at this
You're
thing.
right.
Well, that is what's
Got a
left of
10-inch
the
lift kit.
It was taken apart
jacked
in this
up.
Demolition Derby by the other cars.
Well, the signs fell off
And what has been a
on the
very
wagon.
spectacular Demolition Derby here in Australia.
Oh, mate, the wagons, the signs completely fell off. He's getting no sponsorship now.
Car 777, Mark Brown. There is 69, Mike Fletcher.
Oh, Mike Fletcher's not getting any sponsorship from that
These are the final
Wreckers
cars
now.
to be eliminated, and I wouldn't believe it. Terry Chamberlain, car number 8. I wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it with my very eyes. He is still continuing to race.
I'll tell you what, it
I
hasn't
hear-
folded that bad, eh?
Like he's got written on the
There
side,
is
kill.
car number 777. That is Mark Brown in search of a victim.
Let's look at the
He's
front
got that
grill
one,
on
man.
it.
This is down the back straight.
Oh, that'd be worth $1,000 now.
now. In this Demolition Derby.
What is it? The Valiant?
Yeah, that's the final car running, actually. Car
What's the final car
777,
running?
Mark Brown. Well, the final car running, it looks like it's 777.
Oh, that's why he's sending
Mark
it.
Brown as he just smashes into the front.
Just
of Mike
flatten that
Fletcher.
bloke.
So it certainly
Yeah,
looks
pop the
like
old
He's just-
radiator,
Mark
heat him
Brown
up a
in
bit.
car number
He's just
777
smashed a
will be the winner of
$50,000
this
car to get his
Demolition Derby here in
$1,000 bucks.
Australian Speedway.
That'd be the same Valiant wagon that I took to City vs Country. I looked at that. His one obviously did a lot better than my one. Now we bring it to our final video to review. Nath didn't want me to show this one because he sucked in it apparently. But this is Stroud
Was it?
Show 2017.
I was in a poor
So-
little Pulsar wagon against all these Magners and stuff.
I was going to say, do you want to explain why you didn't want this one to be shown?
Nah, I didn't care about it being shown. You just told me to review it because I was in it, and I was like, yeah, I didn't do that well in it. Me poor
I
little
picked the wrong
Pulsar.
one, did I? There's a few blokes in this one I'm aware of. I think Coco's in here. I think Chris Fisher's in here as well.
Yeah, I believe Jason Rasport's in it. Shane Oliver's in it. There he is. There's Harley Oliver in that car in the wagon there.
That's the wagon I just bought today, the old Camry wagon.
I believe. I don't know if Shane's in it actually.
Why is it that every time there's a Stroud Derby, there's a Commodore wagon that gets waylaid in the front 2 seconds in, and then they're just dead the whole time? It's a green wagon every time. A fresh green Commodore wagon every Stroud Derby.
There hasn't been one at the Derby since I've been running. Oh, there's Shane Oliver there in the little
Maybe
green
you quit
car.
building them.
I would have too.
Like,
How
I
many
swear,
cars
every
do you
time I went
reckon's in
there.
that Derby?
Ooh,
I think there was 20.
Quite a few in there.
a lot of Magnus. No wonder why you can't find any more down that way. You freaking smashed them all.
Yeah.
I
That
actually,
and the wreckers pay too much money for them.
I think this is 2017. I think I won the 2016 Stroud Derby against the bloke in that green ute. He was in a green hatchback. I don't think I've been back since then.
You need to come back now. I run it. Except it
Yeah,
rains
it's always-
every goddamn year.
That's what I was going to say. It's always wet there. That's why I've never bothered doing the trip.
The first year I ran it was perfect. We had a brand new paddock. Such a good derby.
Oof.
There's Jason Rasport.
Yeah, Rasport's done some work.
The
You
uni
can always
looks like
notice-
it's just driving around.
Yeah. You notice the difference in rep drivers than the other drivers, eh? We just see Rasport come through and flatten someone. And then he's up the back again doing the same thing. But, like, there you go. There's
There's
Nate.
my poor little
Half an hour
Pulsar.
into the friggin' Derby, and the Pulsar's still going well. Those things are actually pretty decent Derby cars, though. They're impossible.
If
to
it was
kill.
auto, it would have been a great little car, but it was manual, and I hate Derby and manual cars.
Unfortunately, a lot of those little cars are like that. I have never for the life of me understood why people take the tailgates off Magna wagons.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Well, so do I if I'm going against it, because I lock your back wheels up every time.
I love it. I love taking them off. And I hate.
So he's trying to limit it.
Oh, it's just people that get out. They do that. They just sit there and hold the accelerator, and it drives me nuts. It ruins every Derby video.
You say that, and then when next time you're in a Derby, you'll be there on the limiter.
Nah, I don't. I hate it.
Jeez, there's a lot of Magna wagons in this Derby. This would have been a terrible Derby to be in a Pulsar.
Yeah, I end up blowing the clutch. There goes Damien Simmons.
Oh, what's he in?
There was a I don't know if it was a wagon though. Oh no, he's in a sedan. Over the back there in that white thing.
Old Harley looks like he's going all right. And old Camry
Yeah, I
wagon
know.
has been pretty well, actually.
I don't know what stopped him. So that Magna wagon there on the left, that was a chick driver, and what stopped her is her positive terminal come off, and she didn't know why the car stopped, and then she
That's
scrapped
rough.
it.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
No, it was.
It's a good shot from old Harley, but I think his dash nearly fell off when he did that.
And that was back when you only got $100 for a Magna. I was heartbroken. No, this is where Damien nearly gets rolled.
Yeah, Damien's just getting hammered over the side here. I swear you boys hammer the crap out of Damien Simmons every single derby I watch. There's always either you, Chris, or Oliver's.
Back then we did, because we had a bit of shit going on. I did. I reckon probably 12 derbies in a row. That's all I built a car for, was just to go out there and hurt him. I just want, like, not hurt him, but go out there and absolutely hit him as hard as I could.
Take him out.
And I just got over it. I got over building cars just to do it.
You lose interest pretty quick, but some of these hits...
Well, that SV21, I ended up pretty much having the boot latch on the back of my helmet. And that's all we did. Me and Damien just went back to back for the whole entire derby. It's the only car right here.
Oh, shit.
Oh, nearly put her over.
Nearly put him over. He's getting pumped at he? Whoa, shit.
See, to be fair, I tried to drive under him there to push him over.
You just think, oh, come on, why am I in a Pulsar?
Yeah.
I was going to say, he's not going to keep that flag up much longer to turn that
I just
thing
got walloped there too.
I saw that. That's a decent crowd there. Stroud always brings in a decent crowd.
Yeah, they love it up there. It's funny, is one year we got the derby on, and I don't think the rodeo was quite over, and you watched everybody run from everywhere.
It's a hard walk to do away from the car where you just got pumped. You see what I was talking about before, Malcolm, with the utes and that in Newcastle Derby, so they're pretty much useless?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't like that bloke.
boys...
I absolutely do not like that bloke, eh? The bloke that used to run Stroud. This is what he used to do, stop derbies. He used to stop them for the stupidest reason. If there was a car in the middle that was dead, he'd stop the whole derby just to move it.
What's he doing there? Digging a hole or something?
Oh, trying to fill a hole in. Like, what are you doing? Like, this is what he does. Like, your cars are cooking and everything. You don't want to be sitting there in a car doing nothing while it's just sitting there cooking while this idiot moves cars around the paddock. Like,
there's so many derbies from Stroud of this bloke, like, just pretending he's important.
I tell you what, we weren't allowed to bolt our pillar bars to the door. They had to be bolted through the pillar only, because they needed to have full access to the doors in case you got hurt. I said, you got to be joking. I'd prefer to be safe with me bar than, like, you ain't going to open a door in a derby car. Cut it open.
The doors, mate, the door's wrapped around my battery in the center of the car, but, you know, try and open it if you want.
Right, like, that was his idea of safety, was to have access to the driver. I said, man, if you can't get me out the front window, there's something wrrong, eh?
Yeah, this is the same.
You ain't going to open one of these doors.
When I was there last, and I can remember the level of quality of scrutineering and officialing that he had. He was about six pack deep of drinks when he was talking to me.
Yeah, that's right. Like, he was just a clown.
But it's good that he's not there anymore. But oh my God, you've had so much bad luck with rain. It's just not. Every time I think about going down there, I'm like, yeah, but it's so wet and gross.
God damn, yeah, for the last 2 years in a row, it's just been a bog hole. But it's a great derby when it's dry.
Yeah. Oh, the track's perfect. Look at the water bowl, the water barriers the whole way around it. Like,
we've got a full site safety fence now too,
which is great. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's or you can see it there anyway. But like now the crowd's fully blocked off from the derby. They can't come anywhere near it.
The potential for a great derby is there, 100%.
Yeah.
It's just that you guys are.
Looks like they put the infrastructure into it.
Yeah. And Australia's really good.
They know that it's popular. That's the thing. And we need to obviously utilise that more often with Australia.
Well, see, for us down here, it's the last derby of the season, so no one wants to miss it. Like for like our local sort of derby, so everyone's like, "Oh God, don't want to miss it." It's the last one for a couple of months.
I found that this year there's no off season. Literally, there's a derby every month.
Yeah, well, see, like a lot of boys are turning into the travel now. Like they want to travel, and I think, to be fair, sort of State of Origin really opened that up. Was just to go on derby against someone different and do something different.
Yeah,
as well as having that four-cylinder derby.
Once you cross that border,
yeah,
Jane was the only one crossing the border for a while there.
Yeah,
What are you talking
Oh,
about?
it'd be all right if we lived to be closer to it, but it's a 9.5-hour trip for me.
Yeah, it's a long haul.
And then I only lasted a minute and a half, so it was a bit... That's the risk you take, I suppose. But
I bet that doesn't happen next time, mate. You'll be in that big Tarago, you know, all 13 of us in the Taragos. It's going to be great.
oh, did you not tell him I'm bringing up a Mack truck?
I'm bringing a Land Cruiser. What are you talking about?
I'm bringing a bulldozer.
We will have a decider. So talk us through who's still in it, Nate. I don't recognise any of these drivers.
Yeah, good question. Neither do I. Ah, 79.
That'd be Derek Funnel, wouldn't it?
Yeah. The old
Who's
sandbag
number
until
8?
the end. I don't know. I don't know who number 8 is.
It'll be an interesting finish. Is that Magna on Camry?
I believe Derek won it.
Oh, yeah. I was just about to say, I bet the Camry gets him because the Magna will cook itself.
Derek's in the Magna, isn't he? It's a Magna, isn't
Yeah,
it?
but the other bloke's in the Camry, so I was saying maybe that one would probably beat him.
See, I believe that the Camrys handle the heat a lot better. It's just
100%.
that first initial, when that radiator pops, you just got to keep it alive
Yeah.
when the water goes up the airbox.
You really need to blow the radiator early rather than later as well.
Yeah.
Because if you blow it right at the end there, then no one gives you the time for it to start it back again.
No.
Whereas you just sitting there going, fuck, I need to clear it. Just let it clear.
That's why if you ever see me blow a radiator in the Camry, I'll just sit in neutral. I don't care who hits me because I know if I try and drive away, it's just going to kill it.
Yeah.
Sit it
it
in
always
neutral and just
happens.
hold me foot flat.
Well, we've been talking for an hour and a half. So
Yeah.
I dare
Moves
say
pretty quick.
it goes. I told you it flies. Well, thanks for coming on anyway, Malcolm.
Good. Thank you, guys.
I'll do the outro spiel for everyone. Everyone, don't forget our fundraiser for the mental health for the Black Dog. I think we're at $140 for the $500 mark at the moment. So we'll try and add a link into this podcast somewhere, probably in the actual post for that site. Sort out your memberships as soon as possible for the Australian Demolition Derby Association. We need those memberships. We need everyone to get on board with that. If you want it to succeed, this is the way to do it. The memberships are coming in quite fluidly. But if you want it to actually matter in your local town, well, you need to be a member. So South Australia is doing very well at the moment. So is Queensland. We need Victoria and the rest of the states, even New South Wales. We need New South Wales to step up as well because obviously we're doing a massive event in Queensland because we have a lot of members in Queensland. And we're going to be going and doing stuff in South Australia because we have members there as well. So if you want those events and those big class events and stuff to change in your town, well, you need to come on board. We are chasing sponsorship for the podcast. So if you're interested in that, get in contact with us. I think it's done over a 3 podcast episode series at $250. So if you've got some money, some businesses, we've got spots. We've got spots here and over there and all the spots there. So we'll have those spots available. You can have your business advertised on there. We've also got the one over there next to Nath, KGH Conveyancing, which we've got on there as well. So all those sponsorship things can be done. All right. So that helps the association and it helps the podcast keep going. If you're interested in that, get in contact with myself or Nath or the association. And yeah, pretty much we're moving forward with this. It's a runaway train at the moment. So if you want to be on board with that, then follow us along. It's not hard to follow on. Get your membership, like, share the podcast. We're available on Spotify and YouTube at the moment, as well as Facebook. So like, share, and subscribe to all that stuff. Nath, you want to finish this off, mate?
Yeah, so if you're looking to join and actually, be a part of the Derby, sing out too, we can steer you in the right direction or help you with where to go in terms of builds and, all those type of things and how to get onto someone in your local area on, who runs what show and all that sort of thing. Reach out to anyone. They'll help you out. Definitely always, encourage new drivers to come aboard and join this wild thing we call a sport and enjoy so much. I suppose with that as well, if you're struggling with mental health, big thing too, shout out. All of us boys have been through it. Everyone someone that's been through it. Yeah, just sing out. It's a lot easier to have a conversation than anything else. So, yeah, definitely just shout out.
And good luck to all the drivers that are in Toowoomba Derby this weekend. We'll be reviewing it on the next episode. Malcolm, good luck controlling all those madmen.
Thank you.
Make sure you tell them to rip into it so we've got something to talk about, eh?
Hopefully someone's got a video.
Well, let's very much hope so. I imagine there'll be someone that is videoing it.
Yeah, 100%. There's always someone with a phone somewhere.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, right.
So we'll get onto that. We'll review it in the next episode. But other than that, I think we end it there, boys. Thanks for having everyone, and we'll see you in the next episode.